Welcome to Studio 5. Here's what's ahead on today's show.
Come, Jesus, come.
With 17 Grammys on the shelf, CeCe Winans is still booked and busy.
Just came off of a 27-city tour, and it's time for generations.
This can't all be true.
Tom Cruise is back with a new installment of Mission Impossible.
If we want to bring the world back from the brink, we have to deal with him.
And we're sampling new music from Darius Washington. We cannot wait to share those stories with you, so let's fire up this week's countdown of the top 5 stories in the world of uplifting entertainment. At number 5. An early look at Neil McDonough's The Last Rodeo. His film hits theaters May 23rd.
Dad, I don't want him riding bullets. Please don't encourage him.
Let's go! I'm here with Billy Hamilton, champion of the PBR.
He's good.
Not as good as you.
Who is Mr. Wainwright? What's happening?
Joe Wainwright is kind of the everyman. It's, if you want to talk about the film, really, it's when your family gets fractured, when your family gets torn apart a bit, what are you prepared to do to build it back up?
You nearly killed yourself riding bulls, and you wonder why I don't want my son following in your footsteps. All right, Cody. All right, bud.
The souls of our sons.
At number 4, we now have a date.
Listen carefully, because I'm going to tell you what is about to happen.
The global phenomenon The Chosen Last Supper begins streaming on Prime June 15th. Season 5 features 8 episodes and will debut in 3 parts over 3 weeks.
The hour is coming.
Beloved gospel recording artist CeCe Winans has 17 Grammy Awards on her shelf. She recently appeared on American Idol, and she's getting ready now for an international tour. Who would think just a few years ago she was eyeing retirement, but now she's getting ready for her 4th annual Generations Live Women's Conference.
1,000 generations falling down in worship.
This is year 4 for Generations Live. How are you feeling going into it this year?
I am starting to get excited. Starting to get excited.
Hear your people sing, holy to the King of Kings.
I've been so busy. Just came off of a 27-city tour, and it's time for generations.
Tell me, what's the prayer for this year and focus getting ready? What's your heart?
Oh man, I think that my heart is the same. And that is we would have an authentic move of God. You know, there's a lot happening in the world, and every year there's a lot happening in the world.
Yeah.
People are going through horrific things. Everybody who comes to the conference are experiencing different things at different levels. So for me, it's hard to really zero in on one thing because God knows what each person needs.
And through generations of women.
Generations, yes. Every generation that people at every age, every stage of life would be touched and blessed by his presence, but also being in the presence of one another.
Speaking of mothers and sisters, I can't let you go without asking you about you and Shirley Caesar.
To me, she is just pure royalty.
Come, Jesus, come. We've been waiting so long.
I love that woman. I have loved her. I have watched her for many, many years. My mom and dad love Shirley Caesar. And she's always been a part of my home. She's always been a part of my life. And then when I got a chance to meet her and actually do things with her, my respect level went, just 10 times, 100 times higher, she's just so much fun. She's so much fun. So we had a great time. Somebody suggested her as the duet. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Come, Jesus, come. It's already done. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Something seems to have been happening on American Idol. Naturally, we saw your presence and loved the Easter service, I want to call it.
Revival.
Yes. Tell me that union, your experience there, what was it like?
Well, the first experience was amazing. And I want to say thank you to the producers and everybody who's involved. They invited me to come. And I was able to sing with Roman Collins, a young man who I didn't know. But he was such a breath of fresh air, just so excited about spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ, a young man. And we sang on Pentecost Sunday the last time. Yeah. And we were just ready. We connected our agreement for God's will to be done. And God did something that was so spectacular that it spilled over to this year. The producers decided to do a whole show dedicated to, they didn't make people do it, because they have different people who don't believe, people who, and so they just wanted you to do some inspirational, but they named it Songs of Faith.
Yeah.
And they told me it's because of what happened last year, the views that you got last year, that we decided to do a whole show of it. And I was like, are you kidding me? This is amazing. When they told me Carrie was closing it with how great you are, I said, oh, forget about it. And all the contestants that actually sang Songs of Faith, I know it was a life-changing show, and it was for the kingdom. So yay for the kingdom.
The 4th annual Generations Live Women's Conference is set for May 9th and May 10th in Nashville, Tennessee. For more information, simply go to generationsliveconference.com. Still ahead, we've got your first look at Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
Every aspect is there on the screen.
The philosophy of Mission Impossible is to transport an audience to a place they've never been.
At number 3.
Well, Hollywood has the Oscars, football has the Super Bowl, and the fashion world has the Met Gala.
A few snapshots from this year's Met Gala, the annual fundraising event for the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Costume Institute.
The rich, famous, and beautiful strut their style on the red carpet at New York's Metropolitan Museum of Art. The theme this year, Superfine, tailoring black style. Among the hosts, actor Coleman Domingo, rapper A$AP Rocky, and musician, record producer, and Louis Vuitton men's creative director Pharrell Williams.
At number 2.
I wish I could tell you, wish I could describe it.
CeCe Winans finishes final touches for Generations Live, her 4th annual women's conference just ahead of Mother's Day. Tell me, what's the prayer for this year and focus getting ready? What's your heart?
Oh man, I think that my heart is the same. And that is, we would have an authentic move of God.
Welcome back to Studio 5. Tom Cruise is back for the popular action spy film Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
Our lives are not defined by any one action. Our lives are the sum of our choices.
3, 2, 1, action!
Our your secrets compromised. Everything you are, everything you've done has come to this.
You gave him an aircraft carrier?
You can't imagine how physically punishing it was for Tom to be on the wing. The wind distorts your vision. It's almost impossible to breathe.
It is the most extreme practical action ever filmed.
Tom and I are completely devoted to the biggest experience possible. And there is no bigger format than IMAX. What it brings to the story really is quite immersive.
From a character's journey to the landscapes, every aspect is there on the screen.
The philosophy of Mission Impossible is to transport an audience to a place they've never been, a place they may never be able to go.
What an absolutely remarkable place to be able to film. It is a unique experience.
If you want to shoot the ice cap, you're going when the temperatures are absolutely their most extreme. And of course, the Arctic hit us right in the face.
You can't fake being in minus 40 degrees. Take your gloves off for a few seconds, your fingers start to freeze.
Being in an environment like that adds to the suspense and the drama.
I want to give audiences an experience of being there. It was a real privilege to do it. It looks amazing on the screen. This is cinema. This is the experience that is defining for an audience.
Guys, clear the roads! You cannot have Mission Impossible without having a sequence in which Tom Cruise is running. To be able to shoot at Parliament and Westminster Bridge was really something.
I'm going to be on this line the whole time. That's good right there. Okay, go that.
When the need for certainty is absolute and the odds are deemed impossible, the mission falls to him.
Everything we're doing is underwater. We all know it's a dangerous environment. We've developed hand signals underwater, talking to understanding depth or frame, do it again, all of these things. There's a lot of stuff happening. Back to one. Cut.
And now the fate of every living soul on Earth is your responsibility. You refuse to sacrifice the ones you hold close. You've always been on the right side, brother.
I need you to trust me. One last time.
And you can catch Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning in theaters nationwide beginning Memorial Day weekend. Right now it is time for this week's Story in Pictures. Here's your Studio 5 snapshot for this week.
The 2025 Met Gala dress code was tailored for you. We've shared images from the big night, and here's a few more, with a bit of the story behind them. Fashion's biggest night paid homage to the history of black menswear and suit tailoring. The history is rich, and it comes with the Met Gala 2025 exhibit exploring the history and sophisticated styling of black dandyism. Dandyism is described as both an aesthetic and a socio-political strategy through garments. The exhibit is called Super Fine, Tailoring Black Style, and it's on public view at the New York Metropolitan Museum of Art until October 26th.
And that is this week's Studio 5 Snapshot. Still to come, right here on Studio 5, recording artist Darius Washington has some new music to share, an entire album. Get ready for it.
Losing everything, starting businesses failing, but still staying true and faithful to gospel music and the sound of gospel music and my church roots.
Welcome back to Studio 5. We have made it to this week's #1 story in the world of uplifting entertainment.
At number 1,
I always knew my little brother would become somebody. But I had no idea. No one did. That he would break world records.
An Italian child grows up fighting in the streets of New Jersey and becomes one of Christian music's biggest performers. A film on the life of Carmen is one step closer to the big screen.
Yo, Carmen, come here, I want to talk to you. Hey, after all we did for you, this is how you show your gratitude.
I'm grateful, Tony. I just don't want to do it anymore.
What's the timeline in your mind's eye? What are you thinking? Best guess.
Immediately.
Yeah, today.
Today. Yesterday.
Well, you know, listen. The good thing about this is that every step of the way we have had so many inquiries and so many excited people who have stepped into the picture and said, "We want to help. We want to do something."
They're saying there's more than 70,000 people out there tonight. It only holds 65. I know.
Darius Washington is a pastor, producer, recording artist, real estate agent, business owner, and he's got some new music to share. It is out of the box and extraordinary.
Tell me about the birth of this project. I know you said some of the songs on it are as old as 13, 14 years old. How did we get here? What happened?
Absolutely, man. Life. So lots of trials, lots of tribulation, lots of tests, just throughout the years of going through divorce, homelessness, and evictions, car repossessions, losing everything, starting businesses failing, but still staying true and faithful to gospel music and the sound of gospel music and my church roots. You know, at this point, after all the production and the BET Sunday Best and all the things, right? I finally feel like have come to a place where I could put together, right, a project and produce a project that I feel would really give a voice to the testimony of those 15 years. Like that's how we're here with this project.
Not only is this a testimony of that, but it's also a celebration of gospel music, if you will.
Absolutely. All day. All day. All day. I told him, I said, man, gospel music is the soundtrack of my childhood. Growing up in church, my dad's a pastor. My mom's dad was an elder and a minister. You walk in the church, into that General Assembly, and there's 100 voices in the choir stand, and we are having some church. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
But then they're transitioning into a hymn. Then they're transitioning into worship, bended knees, hands lifted, heart surrendered to God. And that's where you start to get like some of the diversity of the music that you hear on the record. But this is my childhood, man. You know, this is roots for me.
I know that you shot a music video, I think, for When I Call. Yep. Tell me about, because even that video was a faith walk, if you will.
Absolutely, man. That video, I started When I Call, just a word from the Lord. And the heart behind that was New Jack Swing, kind of like a 80s, 90s vibe. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know what? We're going to do something cool. We're going to do something different. I said, I want to shoot a music video. Man, Efren, I started that project with nothing. No money to do it, just a vision from God. Put like this, no budget to do it, right? And I told a friend about it. And he said, man, I've been looking to do a music video. I want to add to my portfolio. He's a professional videographer, cinematographer. He comes and he literally takes on the cost and the budget of the project. I can't make this stuff up. Like, the title of the record is To Live by Faith. Mm-hmm. Every single journey, everything that God has called me to do has been a faith walk, and he keeps proving himself over and over and over.
Darius Washington's new project is available right now wherever you download, listen, or stream your music. Welcome back to Studio 5. Music helps us to bring you this show each and every week, and this week's soundtrack comes from Sam Hunt. Take a listen at Liberty, and you'll know why this is playing in my ear this week.
bunch of kids, little fertile ground. Raise them up, ride, pass it down. Fences keep the cattle in, but they can't hold the souls of men. Fences keep the cattle in, but they can't hold the souls of men. Yeah, fences keep the cattle in, but they can't hold the souls of men. The souls of men.
On that musical note, we are just about out of time for this week's edition of Studio 5. So let's take a look ahead to what we've got for you come next week.
I would FaceTime a lot of nights with TJ because I was up here part-time, there part-time.
Best-selling author Annie F. Down pens a children's book written from the pages of her personal story.
God has taken this little seed, this little story I wrote for my little one redheaded nephew, and is made our loss have some pretty deep purpose in a lot of families' lives.
Please join us for that and so much more come next week. As for this week, we've got time for just one more thing. Let's give the final word to CeCe Winans. You could speak a word into young people who can see themselves on so many platforms. How you stay true to who you are and who God has called you to be in an age where you could be so easily distracted.
Yeah, stay focused. You know, I was really encouraging somebody this morning that when you stay focused on pleasing Him, then every platform that He allows you to go on, every door that He opens, He can trust you that people will see Him, you know? So I would just encourage them to stay focused. David said, one thing have I desired, and that will I seek after. And if they just stay focused on Him, just like the Bible says, everything else will be added.
CeCe Winans, thank you so much. That is a great final word for this edition of Studio 5 and for this week's look at uplifting entertainment. Until next time, make time to uplift someone around you, and then please come on back and see where Studio 5 takes shape next week. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching.